Fucking kidding me. Jesus Christ.
We're live. Hi, guys.
Oh.
We are back with another episode of Mental Misdeeds. I'm your host, Dre, here with Caleb. And we thought we were having some technical difficulties, but luckily.
Yeah, Facebook had a meltdown, but you know how I feel about
okay now.
Mark Zuckerberg and all that shit. I apologize for my profanity there.
But we do want to mention at the top of our show to please check out our affiliate, Dan Berman at taxationistheft.info for all your liberty needs. He can help you out there. Please check it out. And we will, of course, put that in the description down below. But yeah, I don't really have much else as far as the intro goes here, Caleb. So
I don't really think I do either. I think we kind of got it. We got pretty much everything covered there, and then me cursing at the computer was more than enough. So
yeah,
I think we'll just bring him up. Our guest for the week, Mr. Terrance Gawith, friend of mine, stand-up comedian. Are you Kansas City or D.C.? I know you've been in both.
D.C. is where I moved from. Yeah.
Okay.
Yep.
D.C. How you fucking doing, my friend?
I'm doing well. How y'all doing?
Oh, just
Taco Tuesday.
Technical difficulties. We started 7 minutes late, so we're on par for the course. It's a normal episode, so
woohoo.
StreamYard's been a hoe lately anyways, man. I use that for my podcast, and I feel like when you hit the live button anymore, it's done this dulling out.
Yeah, that's what it did with us, and that's why I was like, Jesus fucking Christ. And it was, but it came on eventually, so I don't know what's going on with it, but I don't even know if I should probably check and see if it's live. I know we're live on YouTube, but I don't know about it's probably some issue with Facebook. But yeah, so how's it go? Fuck, dude. I feel like I just talked to you the other day because I did.
Yeah. It literally was the other day.
Has anyone taken any swings at you on stage?
No, man. Thankfully. Dude, what a crazy. I still can't believe. I cannot fathom why I'm seeing so many comics support Will's actions. It literally blows my freaking mind. I don't understand it.
Comics.
I don't get it either. That's unacceptable, unfucking acceptable on every level. And can I just say that if, when my husband needs to defend me, I think that it's going to warrant more than a fucking slap. That I can do my damn self. If my husband needs to step in, it better be a little more serious than a slapping incident happening. If that happens, guess who's getting slapped next?
Yeah.
Because that's a bitch move.
For sure. For sure. No, I mean, I said it on my podcast, my other show, Bread and Circuses, last night, man. If I'm going to get violent in a situation where my girl is involved, it's got to be an immediate physical threat. You know what I mean? And it may be that person was acting like a jackass, and I told him, hey, can you cut it out? And he decided to escalate the situation. But I'm never going to initiate violence over someone just saying something. There is truly nothing you can say to me that would make me want to hit you.
You have to know me pretty personally to hurt my feelings.
Right.
And sorry, none of you people out there are going to cut it. So go ahead and say what you're going to say. I think I can take it. I'm a big kid now.
And that's the thing, too, is I shared this big, long-ass post, but it had a lot of the points that I agree with. And one of them was exactly that. Why are we allowing this to continue in this age of women empowerment? And he did the exact opposite of that.
Yep, that was a good post.
And that's what I'm so you get what I'm saying, right? In no way. And that was the thing I talked about with my wife. I know she's a strong enough individual. So when it comes to certain levels, she's got that shit. She don't need me barking behind her back. Nope. I'm there watching for sure.
Yeah.
But I don't need to jump. What are we doing?
No, I don't. And oh my God, I can't even imagine, dude, let alone just forget some jackass at a bar. If I walked up and hit a guy on stage for making a joke at her expense, I'd probably be staying with my brother. That's
not even the couch. You're out all the way out.
She would be embarrassed on our behalf.
Absolutely.
You know right. Yes.
That was an embarrassing slap. Oh my God.
And then the shouting afterwards too is that's not how you handle it. That's not over a joke that was so benign.
It really was
a very tame joke.
Well, and you know, the whole counter argument to it is she's so insecure about her alopecia, and you know that joke really fucked with her. I'm like, you know what? I'll give
really?
you that. I'll concede that maybe that is a big deal to her,
Agreed.
and that joke bothered her. But what he did was
It's
he
still
took a
not
10-second clip and now put it in the front headlines for the next week. So now her alopecia that she would have heard about one time in a 10-second hack joke that everyone would have forgot is now the center front of the mainstream news.
And going to be intentionally perpetuated.
Yeah.
I want to perpetuate it just because.
It's
okay, I
want to
mention
analyzed.
2 things. She's been shaving her head for years. Also,
Thank you.
Pfizer sponsored the Oscars, and they have a new drug out that's in phase 3 for alopecia. Weird. Wonder if there's any connection.
Wait, seriously?
Yeah.
Wow.
Stage 3 trials.
I think the vaccine caused her to lose all of her hair.
How fucking disheartening is that? It's all just a fucking act to pander to us turds.
So that was definitely not staged.
Agreed.
I
Really?
have so I have
I don't think it's fully staged.
A friend from high school who like
so staged.
You can. I'm not going to name drop him because he wants to remain anonymous. But like, you can
Sure.
search his name, and he's worked on big. And when I say big, I mean as big as they get movies, not acting or anything. But he's done lights, sound, cameras, you name it. So he was working the Oscars that night, and he messaged me yesterday, and he said we want to talk about it, but they are like, that was not staged. He said they had to clear the press. I was part of the team that had to clear the press off the second floor so Denzel Washington and Bradley Cooper could calm him down. Will Smith and Jada had apparently been boycotting the Oscars since 2008 because they lost to Heath Ledger and they said it was racist. And that award, he said that award, like the reason they didn't kick him out was they wanted him to go in and win the award so they could say, oh, we're not racist. Because, I mean, the fact
but
that
now they're out saying that they're gonna look into it and see about, now
that he's gotten his award. I mean, dude, it's just the fact that he was allowed to go up and assault a man on stage, sit back down, continue to enjoy the show, and then accept an award and give a speech.
Right.
It's insane.
Yeah. Because like there's so many levels to this that have upset me, right? Like with the narrative being around, oh, look at Will standing up to the bully. And I'm like, yo,
no.
Chris has an entire fucking portion of his career built around him being beat up as the scrawny kid. And everybody hates Chris. Look at the stature differences. You're not standing up to nobody on a benign ass joke like that. Like, get the fuck out of here.
I watched your podcast from I think yesterday when you said he would not have done that if that would have been a much bigger dude.
No.
And I saw the memes and they put The Rock up there.
Fact.
Yeah, no, wouldn't have been happening.
Not at all.
He'd have been like,
not at all.
There was a newspaper in Argentina at like 3:00 Monday morning that accidentally typoed it, and apparently they were just pushing the headline out so fast that they didn't check it. They said that it was Kid Rock that he assaulted and not Chris. And I was thinking, we were talking about on our show last night, just how fortunate this country is that it wasn't Kid Rock, because my God, that would have added a whole new racial element to it.
Kid Rock, I can't see him taking that shit.
I can't see him taking that, number one. I can't see him going to anything like that sober, number two. And number three, there probably would have been several ethnic slurs involved if Kid Rock had been hit by Will Smith.
It would have been ugly.
It would have been so much worse. It's just
so much more entertaining, though. Hell, see what I've got back here? Because I have to just laugh at all of this bullshit now. That's it. It's popcorn.
It's bread and circuses. Enjoy the show.
Exactly.
That's the only reason.
Show.
The only reason I gave a shit enough to comment was because of the sheer amount of comics that were out defending Will Smith. Because I'm like, do you fucking understand the can of worms that is? Like, especially in today's internet and TikTok culture about the instant gratification and individualism, there's no fucking way you don't open up the door for that to happen more on a grander scale.
Right. Absolutely. And and that's my thing is I've always said, because you see people argue about, I remember like when the Slipknot versus Machine Gun Kelly thing was going on and people were arguing on behalf of their favorite band. I'm like, guys, they don't fucking care. They don't care about you. I'm not defending Chris Rock. Chris Rock doesn't need me to defend him, just like Dave Chappelle didn't need me to defend him. I'm defending comedy as a whole, because if we're going to set a precedent that any joke I don't like can be met with a violent reaction, that's dangerous. And I'm going to tell you, man, I'm not going to get punched. I'm going to stab somebody that tries to punch me on stage. Like, I'll put it out there right now. I'm not just going to get hit in the face like that. You know, and if that's really the precedent that we want to set, that you can just go beat somebody up, I mean, all right, fair game, but where does it stop? Can we just arrest people for saying jokes we don't like? Can we send a SWAT team to their house? Where does that stop? If violence against someone who says a joke we don't like is okay, you know, where does it end? It doesn't, you know, and that's a lot of these people I think have shown their true colors, because in reality, these people would be more than happy to have you arrested for telling a joke you don't like. They may not tell you that, but if they had their way, Dave Chappelle would be in prison right now. Chris Rock would have gotten a fine for that joke, you know?
Yeah.
Like that's, and Will Smith is the innocent victim who just committed assault, you know? So that's,
and he's the one that had to be, you know, comforted and calmed down after the incident. That's what I also find hilarious about this, that he had to be comforted and calmed down.
Right.
Like, are you fucking kidding me? You laughed your ass off at the joke before your wife shot you a dirty look and gave you the look that said, hey, you better do something.
And yeah, and it literally goes to show too, like there's that other aspect that I've seen of it, at least lends credence to the toxic female narrative that's less talked about, right? Because just like you said, Dre, she's been rocking that bald to near bald cut for decades. Like that was when I first had a crush on her as a young dude, was because she was in the Tales from the Crypt movie, Demon Knight, as one of the little survivors. She had the almost no hair to very short to blonde. So you go through all of that, and now you want to act like this is this big ordeal when this is how you've been. And in any given scenario, in a solid relationship, I imagine, like we said, my woman's going to be like, nah, T, don't do that.
No.
Sit down.
Doesn't want that.
If it's really that bad, like if it was truly something that was that bad, I mean, Will Smith knows Chris Rock. He could have easily pulled him aside afterward and said, hey, man, that's not cool. Or, you know, Will Smith has been to plenty of these awards banquets. He's hosted several himself. He knows roasting famous people in the front row is part of the whole shtick. He could have said beforehand, hey, man, my wife's really insecure about this. Could you do me a favor and just not tell any jokes about it? Like, if you're going to roast us, just lay off that subject. And you know what? He would have been fine, because I would have done that.
Right.
And I have way less boundaries than Chris Rock. I almost said Kid Rock. I have way less boundaries than Chris Rock does. The Kid Rock has less boundaries than me. But
that's why I laughed my ass off at one of the memes that was shared by a comedy bro that I know out in DC. It was like, Chris a better man than me, because if Will would have slapped me like that, I would have immediately went into 72 August Alsina jokes. And I was like, yeah, I'd have done that. Threw in a couple of bold ones on top. Yeah.
It sounded like he wanted to, because he was like, you know, I could. He was started a couple things, and then he was like, I'm just gonna let it lie.
He was in complete shock. Truly. I think it's easy to say that you would have went into, you know, whatever joke or done whatever, but I think if someone on one of the biggest stages in the world walks up and smacks you in the mouth while you're in the middle of telling a joke, I don't know if anyone knows how they would respond to that. Like, we would probably people are going to be a little bit more hyper alert to it. Like, you come up, like, I may use the mic stand as a weapon or some shit like that. But
but I think that he could have very quite easily been like, I'll keep your wife's name out my mouth if she, you know what I mean? That easy one. Yeah. I think he would have rolled with that real fucking quick if he thought Will was going to stay in his seat. Maybe, I don't know. Like, I think he just wanted to get on with the show.
Yeah.
He wanted to be a professional. He wanted to let it go. He wanted to just get past it.
I think we should let Alex Jones host the Oscars next year.
Oh my God. That would be amazing.
Could you imagine? He just comes out. He starts. You never find out who won the
lizard
awards.
people.
It's just Alex Jones. Like, you're all tied to a bunch of cartels of pedophiles.
You seen it on the one that was over. Just pull it up in the footage.
We have the documents, folks. We have the documents.
Yeah. There's the documents. I've seen it in the footage. We recorded it 100 times.
They bragged about it. They've admitted to it.
This is factual. You can prove this. You can Google this.
He Doug Stanhope did years and years ago had a show in Austin, and he let Alex Jones open for him. And this was before. I mean, this was like 2004, Iraq War. Alex Jones. So this was before he was famous or anybody knew who he was, and they were just friends. And Alex Jones went on stage and he gave him 10 minutes and he didn't tell a single joke. Like, this shit's on YouTube. He went up there at a comedy club, people who had no clue who he was, and just berated them about conspiracy theories and Bush and 9/11 and the Iraq War and American imperialism. And like, he got booed off the stage and people were like, get the fuck off the stage. And Alex Jones was like, why don't you come up here and make me, punk? And like, Stanhope had to pull him off the stage. He had to come out and get him.
That's so in line with the Stanhope thing, though. Like,
I know,
just knowing how he does his comedy, like it's that angry, ranting, borderline overly political, but not like,
yeah. Stanhope's one of my favorites, man.
I love it.
That's like when I first started doing comedy, of the people that I modeled who I did my sets off. Stanhope was one. Dave Chappelle. I mean, everyone says Dave Chappelle. That's just the fucking, layup pick. That doesn't even count anymore. I don't feel like fucking Sam Kinison was another one. Just that angry, loud, over the top, but like, you still find a way to kind of have a point. And it's a ridiculous point. It's not one that anyone actually believes, but I've always found it great when a comic can take just a ridiculous point of view and defend it in a way that sounds reasonable, that actually makes you think, hold on, he's got a no, he can't have a point. No. Like, you know what I mean? Like the Kinison bit about the starving African kids.
Yeah. Those are the bits that allow you to sit back and be like, you know what? That makes more sense than it should.
Yes.
Those are when the brilliant moments set in and real, genuine, like deep laughter kicks off. Because you're like, it was that delayed wave, right? Like almost like getting kicked in the nuts, but like with a light tap. It's a delayed wave of pain, except this one's with laughter. Like, fuck, that was funny.
Yes, absolutely. And I mean, I think at the end of I lost my sense, but I was gonna ask you, so how could I do know some comics that have texted me, they're worried that it's punch a comedian on stage season. I don't think it's there. No. I mean, are you? I heard it happened last night in Omaha.
What?
Nobody got punched, but someone rushed the stage. I saw a video of it.
Oh man. So something obviously happened based on the comedy scene, like arbitrary post or
I'll tell you off the air. I know that happened.
Got it. Yeah, so you know which post I'm talking about. So you're like, whatever. Now, having been a dude that went regionally viral for a heckler, like, and I say regionally because when I went viral, I didn't realize there's levels to this shit. Like,
right.
And so regionally means more like that 250 to 500,000 views,
right,
like overnight sort of thing. And that's what happened.
That's pretty big.
Yeah, it was like it. Hannibal Buress shared my video, like, and a couple other like, like it was pretty like big at that time. And it really wasn't even huge in the fact that like she didn't fully assault me. She jumped on stage, tried to take my shoes off, had been yanking on my pants, and was trying to knock my hat off and smack my head a couple of times.
Just drunk
in the process. No, sober as a motherfucking kitten, dude. Like crazy.
Was she mad?
No, like.
Or was she trying to get you naked?
The long short was we were setting up I was setting up a mic with a good buddy of mine, and when we tried to start the show, she was kind of loud. I went to address it. She seemed cool. Then as the show started, she started up again, and then it just tumbled from there. And it's like a 5-minute awkward ass video, and it just blew up, right? So I say all that to say, like, being in that position, it's such an awkward fucking position to be in because you're trying to keep the show rolling. You're trying to make people laugh while dealing with somebody who's clearly not making logical decisions. They're not operating in a space that makes sense, and they're not responding in an even relatively normal fashion. So you're sitting there dealing with all of that. And then there's the other dynamics that happened because of the demographics of the video that made it fucking crazier. And so it's nuts, man. Like you can't allow that to happen. But all that being said, it's always been around. So to say that it's slap a comic season, I don't think it ever really fucking stopped.
Yeah, unfortunately, I think you're right. The crazies or the drunks that will rush the stage for whatever fucking reason they feel.
Yeah.
And those have always been around. I think the concern is that it's going to be at a higher degree, where you're going to get the average person that gets their jimmies in a rustle that otherwise wouldn't have, they might have yelled something or they might have stormed out or bitched to their wife or husband on the way out. But now they got the balls. Now they're going to come up on stage and do something. And it's
now they got somebody.
Don't try that shit at our shows.
Yeah. Or they got somebody posted up in the back pre-recording.
Yeah.
Waiting. Yeah. Because they know somebody's going to do it. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like it's.
Yeah. I mean, dude, there's people that go around like to mics and shows and shit, and they get recordings just to see someone say something off the wall so they can try to cancel them. Absolutely. See if they can step over that proverbial line. And they'll sit there with a phone record. Like they pay money. They take time. Obviously, they don't have any friends. They're not going to do anything on a Saturday night anyway. But like they take time out of their day. They pay money to go out and do. It's just like, what a fucking sad existence.
I have some free advice for you fucks. Why don't you save your money and take that time to write some decent material so that you get more stage time instead of trying to get other people off the stage, because it's pathetic. I'm not, obviously I'll never name drop because I don't want to start drama. I've had comics call venues on me. Comedians call venues on me trying to get me taken off. Like, what
how
fucking babies
asinine is that? The fact that someone would reach out to it's none of your business, man. You got your shows, I got my show. Why the fuck does it matter? You know what I mean?
It's such a weird thing when comics treat it like a zero-sum game, because if you've done this even a little bit or watched it a little bit, you understand the swath of comedy is so wide. There's enough out here for everybody to fucking eat.
Absolutely.
Stop doing this shit of trying to smack everybody back down the ladder, because in the end, you never know who's going to blow. And I hope if you're one of those cocksucking pieces of shit, male or female, that tries to regulate other people's jokes, I hope your career is an utter failure. It's nothing you ever wanted to be. I hope your kids never learn how to read and nobody fucks with you.
I hope everyone leaves you and you die alone, bitch.
Fuck,
that's
man.
Dude, my thing with that is like, it's like you said, man, there's enough room in comedy for everyone to prosper. And the type of person that would be so upset by something I said on a stage or a podcast or whatever, their average listener base is never going to go to one of my shows. My shows are marketed the way they are intentionally. We label our shows the Midwest's most offensive comedy show. Now, we don't go out of our way to be offensive. I could walk on stage and say racial or homophobic or whatever slurs with no punchline, and that would be offensive, but it wouldn't be funny. The reason we put the Midwest's most offensive comedy show tagline on there, we want people to tell their jokes and take a few more chances with them, but we just don't want, it's like we don't want people to get upset when they do hear something that's off the line. Right?
You want people to know what they're walking into. Like, if you are easily offended, this is not the show for you. And that's there on the poster.
I have
so
no
that you
problem.
know. We do this for you.
Because I think it's Joe Rogan, right? Like, he advertised that a while back. I think he said he has literally, it's printed out like in little shitty pieces of paper that says these shows contain the most offensive or extreme mature content imaginable. Yep. And he's like, I don't do that and intentionally go and be like, well, rape is, and it's like, but if it goes there, it goes there. And it's like, that's, it's really fucking dumb that we have to do that in the first place.
Yeah.
All things considered.
Right.
It's almost
you have no room to get mad.
Right. Well, it's like the comparison I make is it's like watching Shark Week and getting mad they're not talking about giraffes. You know what I mean? That's you signed up for it, you bought the ticket, it was on the poster, it was on the ticket sale when you bought it, it was on the Facebook event, it was on the website, it was everywhere. There's no excuse.
You were informed. You were informed.
This is what you got. You got it's shock humor it is what it is, man. You don't have to like it. That's fine. I appreciate that you don't appreciate what I do. I have no problem with that. I understand everyone has different tastes. I don't listen to Florida Georgia Line, but they sell out stadiums, so obviously somebody likes it. You know.
I'm saying, man.
I
equate it. No, go ahead. I'm sorry.
Oh, no. This is a different subject altogether, so go ahead.
No, I was just going to say, I equate it to like going to fucking Walmart and you seeing somebody that has a shirt on that you don't particularly like. Mm-hmm. Most people are going to be normal and see that shirt on somebody else that they don't like and be like, well, that's their fucking shirt. I don't give a shit. But we're in this weird ass culture where people instead are just be like, I don't like that fucking shirt. They're like, hey, yo, fuck that shirt.
Turn it inside out.
Fucking shirt. Don't fucking wear that shirt around me. And matter of fact, don't even fucking sell that shirt. Like, what are you doing?
Well, I mean, if you're at Walmart, you don't have a right to get offended at anybody wearing it.
Exactly.
Like, you should just be happy that it's not pajamas.
You're wearing $3 Hanes. Shut your dick hole.
Yeah, exactly.
As long as all the clothing is covering the body, I'm happy at Walmart.
Yeah,
you know
which
what I
at
mean?
Walmart, that's 50-50, man. I haven't set foot inside of a Walmart in years. I like to tell people I haven't. She gave me a look. No, like Mia really, like I was not born into privilege. She had to teach me how to become too good to shop at Walmart. It was definitely not. I used to do everything at Walmart, and now we have a Costco membership and those things.
All grown up now.
Yeah.
I've gotten in altercations at Walmart before. Like, I used to work in a different part of town and I wanted to stop and grab a thing, and I got in an altercation with a meth head. Like, I had to have a cop walk me out. These two were going fucking Looney Tunes and I wasn't carrying because I had just been at work all day and they don't allow that sort of thing.
Yeah.
So, I was just like, and they were still screaming like in the parking lot. And I was like, ooh, meth is a hell of a drug. She goes, yeah, it was a lady cop. She's like, yeah. And I'm like, all right, I'm good now. Bye. Thanks. You know, I feel like this is a real bitch move having somebody walk me onto my car. But, you know, this meth head bitch just shoved me in the store 2 feet away from the cop. Yeah. She wasn't concerned. So
somebody got to do something.
See, we're talking about when it's appropriate to smack somebody. That's probably a point where I might swing on or I would swing on somebody. Is if you have a meth head to shove me, like that's we're getting close, you know. So
all I had was a box with a hairdryer in it to defend myself, and that thing weighs about 2 pounds. Maybe.
Pretend it's a gun. She won't tell the difference.
I was gonna say, start use it as a shiv. Just start, back, you savage, back.
Dude, you got a cord on it. You can use that as like a whip, like Indiana Jones or some shit, you know?
And I mean, like, and it was really obvious. Like, they were in there with their 2 little kids in pajamas, and they were buying nothing but, like, what's that shit from over the counter in the pharmacy that you make meth out of? Like, they had a whole cart.
Sudafed. Sudafed. I think it was
dude.
Someone sent me a meme the other day that said Kid Rock looks like the type of person that knows exactly how much Sudafed you can buy at Walgreens.
He does too, man.
He does.
It's like one of those mean tweets editions where they said he looks like he smells like cigarettes and old farts.
He does. Kid Rock.
He does look like he smells like an ashtray.
Yeah,
for sure. But
no, I mean, never stopped smoking.
On my other show, we had like 2 years ago. Speaking of Walmart, we had the head of the Omaha Police Officers Association, so not the union, but like their PR guy kind of thing.
Yeah, right.
And we were talking to Tony Connor, and we were talking to him about the whole Walmart human trafficking thing. And I'm like, is that just bullshit that was getting spread around on Facebook, or was this legit? And he goes, no, that's legit. Like we investigate, like that actually happens. There's legitimately people, and it's not like he's like, I know that 9 times out of 10, yes, it's poor minority women that are trafficked, but it is not unheard of for women in suburbia to get picked up at Walmart in the middle of the day by some ruse, and they take them away and traffic them. He's like, we can't say that doesn't happen, because it has happened here more than once. So like, Walmart's dangerous, y'all. Stay safe at Walmart, and don't, if someone comes up to you, specifically if it's a woman asking for help, just use better judgment. That's the old honeypot.
I got a fucking story about that, man.
They've got cops at the front of every store. Take her to get help there if she really needs it.
Yep.
Man, my lady tried to do some shit. She's doing plants, and talking about, oh, this girl said that she wants to fix this plant and wants something delivered for this plant. So she wants to meet me at the gas station at 180th and whatever for help. And I'm like, Winch, she looked at me like I was crazy because I thought she was crazy for going, not knowing this bitch. And I was like, Winch, how you going to look at me like when you don't understand you could be snatched right there on the highway, gone? Like, just
how did this woman contact your wife?
Facebook. That's what I said. I'm like, what the fuck are you doing? Yeah, exactly. It was.
She's reaching out to strangers for fucking gas and rides.
It was in some sort of like mom help group thing.
Oh, I'm banned for all those for advertising my shows.
Yeah, it was in one of those, and I was like, wait a minute here, lady. You mean to tell me you're gonna get pissy with me because I'm telling you about to get trafficked?
Right.
Get the fuck out of here. I'm not talking to you anymore.
Oh God. Yeah, I get yelled at by my husband constantly when I come home and tell him like these stories like I just said about why weren't you carrying?
Terrifying,
and I'm like, God, yeah, well, John, yes, I know I need to carry more. I am working on it. Listen.
Yeah. We got, like, I've been over it with Mia. Like, obviously, like, even if it's a woman saying it's me and my baby, call the police, take them to the store associate. Yeah, but she doesn't go anywhere, like she just said. But like, if somebody, but I mean, it can be more than that. It can be someone can come knock on your door and say, "Hey, me and my baby are fleeing. We've been beaten." And it's at that point you got to be like, "Look, you got to understand what kind of world we live in. You can hang out on my porch. I'll call the cops, and you can wait for the cops to get here. But you are not coming in my house. I'm not answering the door."
Like, God, see, in past years, I would have been so naive and be like, "Oh yeah, come on in, we'll call."
It's women that they get doing that because you guys are more emotional, and that's not always a bad thing. It's just the reality.
It is.
You guys are more likely to help somebody that's in danger.
That's misogynistic, Caleb. You can't say that.
Hey, this is a feminism-free zone.
See, I just don't care to help anybody. That's my thing. Is I just don't care. So they'll never get me.
Yeah.
Caleb skipped the Nebraska Nice class in middle school, I guess.
Yeah. No, it's called Don't Get Fucking Killed. I pulled up to
No, I'm naive as fuck. I get it.
Me and you met him, Dre. Me and my friend Jordan, we were like in high school. We pulled up to this quick trip one year. We might have just graduated. We remember like 19. We pulled up to this quick trip, and this lady comes running up to us. She's like, "Guys, help! I've been beat. I need a ride to 84th Street." And we go, no, we're not doing that. And she's like right on the car, like yelling through the window. And she's like, "Please, guys, I'm not being followed. I promise." And we're like, "No, we're like, you can't have it. Absolutely not. I'm sorry. Go in the store."
That sounds a lot like something somebody would say who's being followed.
Right. Yeah, exactly.
I'm totally not being followed, guys. Like, there's totally nothing going to happen to you if you, what the fuck, bitch?
Right.
What are you talking about?
Right. Yeah, totally. We're not going to skin you alive and steal everything you're worth. No.
Oh my God.
If you were concerned, we weren't going to kidnap you, cut out your organs and sell them on the black. No, we weren't going to do that. We wanted a safe, healthy ride.
I was just trying to get to Little Caesars, man. Like, come on.
God, that reminds me. I got a weird note on my door years ago. Like, I lived on the first floor of an apartment building, and I'm leaving for work, and I see this note attached to the sliding glass door the wrong way. And it says some bullshit about, "You're great. I love you.
Oh,
Don't worry." That. Yeah. I was really fucking worried after it said, "Don't worry. You're perfect. Everything's going to be okay," or some shit like that. And I'm like, what the actual fuck?
Cameras.
So I get to work, and luckily I work for like this big, huge Fortune 500 company, and our head of security used to be like a state trooper. And I'm like, what do I do about this? And he's like, you need to call and file a report immediately.
Absolutely.
This is crazy town.
Right. Facts.
And I'm like, yeah, because that was feet from the window from where I sleep. Like, if they wanted to break a window and get in, they would have been able to easily do that. So, but don't worry. Oh my God, why would you say don't worry?
Now that you said that, I'm going to fucking worry.
So that happened. My grandparents.
Don't be scared was another line. Yeah. What?
My grandparents
telling me not to come. I'm gonna come now because you said that.
Well, so my grandparents had like just gotten married, and this is like in the 60s, and they were on their honeymoon and they didn't have any money, so they had to go a couple years late. So they're driving, and my grandpa, my grandpa was in the process of teaching her how to drive. She was like 19 and no one had taught her how to drive. So
It was like that, yeah.
it was super late and my grandpa was tired and he's like, I'm pulling off to this rest stop. I'm going to take like an hour power nap and we'll get back up and go. He didn't want her driving at night on the highway and shit. So they pull in and there's one street light in the middle of the whole parking lot and one car all the way to the end of it. And my grandma's immediately like, something's off. I don't like this. So my grandpa's like, oh, it's fine. I'm just going to go to sleep, blah, blah, blah. So he gets in the back seat and goes to sleep. And my grandma's just chilling there. And two guys come out of the car from across the parking lot and they come running up to her. And they're like, hey, can you come over here? Our car won't start. Can you come over here and give us some help? And it's like a woman in the 1960s is not going to know how to fix a car.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
Red
flag number one. Red flag number one.
Yeah, let me climb under the hood for you.
And my grandma like wouldn't even roll the window down to talk to him. And
Good.
she's just shaking her head. And the guy starts like hitting the window. So they didn't know my grandpa was in the car. I don't know if they thought it was two females or what, but my grandpa popped open the back door and stuck a gun at his head and said, you can get the fuck out of here right now. And they both were like, oh, we don't want any trouble. And they ran out and they got in their car and they drove away.
You don't want no trouble.
Armed society
now.
is a polite society.
Yeah, now you wanted trouble 10 seconds ago, but like when
you don't want trouble now, motherfucker.
Yeah, when me turning your brain off permanently came into the picture, now it's no longer. Now you don't want the heat anymore.
No, it's no trouble.
Yeah. You're not so fucking tough now, are you? Like, yeah.
You don't need any help anymore, do you?
Yeah, game changer.
Any more help with your car from maybe somebody who could help you?
The car that they drove away in. Yeah. They wouldn't start. That was the no, I mean, I've had like other than the time I had another time at a gas station, a lady came up to me probably 1 a.m. asking if I can come help her put air in her tires.
Yeah, fuck that.
And I'm like, no, I'm sorry. You can ask an associate for that, but like that's absolutely not.
Not a service I provide.
And the way this gas station looked is like it's very, very dark where the air. I probably wouldn't even go there to fill my own tires up at night just because. So I was driving out and I saw the car sitting there and I saw another car like engine running, lights off, just waiting down the other end of the parking lot from it, like looking directly at it. So I mean, it's this shit's everywhere, man. People just have to be able to, you just got to use some street smarts.
I have to remember these things at the front of my brain because I'm too eager to be like, oh sure, I'll help you.
No, you got to.
I'm not out late at night much, but still during the day it can still happen. Yeah.
Yeah, because my dad was an over-the-road driver, big trucks, right? 18 years. And my first encounter with lot lizards, I think I was like 11 years old.
Oh, God.
Yeah, and so just getting around that shit, right? You're like, oh, okay, they're just out there fucking dudes in truck stops, right? Until you start to realize, like, some of them are out there murdering these dudes for petty cash that's in their truck. Drugs, I learned about that when it was in fucking Newark, New Jersey, and it was like, yep. I don't want any of that shit, but they'll play that distressed damsel. Yeah. Play that card. No, I'm cool.
Fuck.
And it's a lot of the time, man, it's like a gang thing where they'll have the female act as, someone beat me. Can you please let me in to call 911? And the guys just rush in. And that's like, I mean, I'm just, unfortunately, the odds of that happening to you, I don't want to make people hyper paranoid. The odds of that happening to you are not good. It's not good. I don't know what the odds are, but I've got to imagine winning something in the lottery is about as good. But it's unfortunately a possibility,
Yes, and I've seen enough TikToks of people's doorbell cams, like no.
I mean, if I get it's just at the point where if I get a knock at the door in the after dark and I don't recognize you, it's gonna get answered with a gun. And don't take it if it gets answered at all. I'm gonna assess the situation. Don't take it personally, but that's what other people have created. That's the society other people have created, where I just can't afford to trust anybody else because I mean, sorry, my life's worth more than yours to me. Exactly. Just like yours is worth more to you than mine.
Yeah, that's that weird shit with these new wave like wokeisms and shit, specifically when it even comes to like gun control, right? Like you're over here like, okay, I'll try to give credence to any argument. I really will, whether I agree with it or not. I can't get behind how any motherfucker can honestly look at themselves and say there's no reason for that, given today's current climate. with everything you seeing. Get the fuck out my face with this.
Yeah.
And that's just given today's climate. That
Right.
doesn't even count for all the other whack ass stories and videos like what you're talking about, Dre, that have been around for fucking ever. This is nothing new. And so when people act like, well, you don't need this, well, hey, motherfucker, like you might say I don't need this, but the motherfuckers out there that don't need this, that ain't as nice as me, also don't need this, but they got them.
But they got them, and they got them illegally, and I'm doing it the right way. And you know what?
Right.
What else is going to provide me someone of my stature? I am 5'2". I now weigh barely 100 pounds. Like that's the only equalization I'm gonna get.
That's the point I do make that I do make is even if they don't have a gun, let's say a guy my size, like my mom's similar size to Dre, she lived on her own for a long time. She had a gun, you know. I mean, if a guy my size breaks in, fuck, I don't even need a knife, man. Like if I just break in bare hands, she's not gonna be able to stop me. She's got a gun now. I'm gonna think twice about it.
And if I have something like a knife or a bat where I need to be in that close of contact with somebody, I'm fucking done because I maybe get to hit them once. They're taking that shit from me. They're gonna take it from me. My ass is getting beat with it.
Haven't you seen the horror movies where the girl grabs the kitchen knife and she's shaking it like that? That always makes. I'm like, just run, get away. Don't try to fight that guy. What are you doing?
I need you know what? The only way I can defend myself is with 5 to 10 feet of distance. Otherwise, I don't have a fucking prayer. And the only thing I can use in that situation is a firearm. And that's what I choose to defend myself with. And that's my fucking right. I was born with, and I will die with, and I will die on every hill to protect that right.
Absolutely. And there's a story I always tell. It's this it was a 11-year-old girl in Pennsylvania, 14 child, nonetheless. It'll catch you a case, is what I'm saying. In Pennsylvania, she had like an internet relationship with this guy in New Zealand that said he was a couple years older than her. Well, this guy was in his 40s. It was a catfish, Chris Hansen type situation. So she broke up with the guy, you know, because you're a child, you shouldn't have a relationship on the internet with a stranger. This guy gets so mad, he flies from New Zealand to Pennsylvania, goes to the hardware store, buys a screwdriver, and shows up at her fucking home in the middle of the day. And this girl lives with a single mom. Well, this guy breaks the glass open on the window, breaks into the house, mom pulls out a gun, caps him 5 times, and kills him. If she doesn't, there's no fucking ifs, ands, or buts. If she doesn't have that gun, they're dead. Or God knows, even worse.
Even worse.
Like, that is black and white fact. Chuck Norris ain't kicking the door in. This isn't the TV where the TV shows where the FBI kicks the door in and shoots him right before he gets you. You're dead. If she doesn't have that, they're dead. That's unfortunately, you know, there's no Chris Hansen here. That's how it works. That's a great podcast. He has a podcast. It's great, though.
And even if, you know, they had been fortunate enough to get to a phone, the moment that these people came to the door or whatever, the cops are still minutes and minutes and minutes away.
5 to 10 minutes. Yeah,
I was about to say.
So I'm 13 sorry.
13 minutes, I think, is the average.
Call the cops and order food. See who gets there first.
I'm gonna keep my self-defense on me. It's just gonna be a thing. I'm gonna defend my life, my home, my family, everything that's important to me. If you're coming in uninvited, it's none of my business. Why? Fuck you.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, if someone's in your home, because I mean, if you think about it like this, man, just whatever you do for a day job, right? You sell insurance, you work on a construction site, you work at a grocery store. You're there to make money. And you don't want to get killed at work. If a guy's there to break into your house to steal your TV and sell it for meth or steal your stereo or whatever, he's gonna break in when you're not there. Same reason he doesn't want to get killed trying to make money and go into his job, not real job in air quotes. If someone's in your home at the same time as you that hasn't been invited into your home, you have to assume that person is there for the worst possible reasons. Otherwise, I mean, again, whose life do you value more, yours or this stranger, or your family or this stranger? Even if you're really the most selfless person in the world, you know. I mean, it's like even Jesus would have had a gun. That's all I'm saying.
we're just lying to ourselves, right? Like when people start out their conversations in a lot of these sensitive quote unquote subjects, people often start out by lying, right?
Yep.
And when it comes to the gun debate, people be like, oh, most civilized, advanced nation, blah, 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 blah. Why can't we mirror Canada or Australia, Great Britain? And it's like, hey, guys, they never had anything that ever resembled anything that was like the Second Amendment or anything similar.
No.
So when you start out with that, you are starting out on uneven ground and you're fucking lying. You're not being honest about the conversation.
And I mean,
those countries aren't even afforded the free speech that we are. So why would they get the right to defend themselves if they can't even speak their damn minds?
Australia, you go to jail if you go in your backyard. Like, you know, it's like, it's fucking asinine. And there's a lot of those countries had firearms at one point, obviously, like you said, much more strict than we do. But if you look at the statistics before and after the bans went into place, almost every single one of them saw raises in violent crime. Even to this day, while we may have a higher murder rate, which we have a specific problem with, it's a lot of the people getting shot in this country, it's gang related. It's over drugs, money, territory, those kind of situations.
We don't talk about that.
No,
shit.
not at all.
We give a fuck. We give more of a fuck about the mass shootings that are significantly less in nature. And I mean, one could argue,
and the criteria for mass shooting is quite low. I mean, I think the number is 3 people have to be shot.
Oh, they lowered it.
Used to be 4, but they lowered it to 3.
Yeah, I think that was a Biden move there. That's I don't know, my Chihuahua's growling at me. Much more dangerous than any of my firearms. It's hurt me much more.
I can't believe you just pick her up.
but yeah, no, I mean, even today, the violent crime is in terms of home invasions, muggings, assaults, sexual assaults are so much higher in those countries than they are in the United States. And it's for the reason we just highlighted, that they're not worried
know everybody's
that you're
unarmed.
gonna get shot. Yeah, the 5 foot 300-pound woman, there's no longer any possibility that she had something that could equalize that. And the police are fucking worthless. So what are they going to do? The police investigate crimes, man. They show up, they take your story, they say they'll do something, and then they fucking go home and they drink coffee and eat donuts.
In the UK and Canada, people in the UK and Canada are not even allowed tasers. They can't even carry around butter knives or any knife of any fucking sort.
That's in Canada or the UK?
Canada and the UK.
Oh.
Like, you know, they've got all those giant knife drop boxes in the UK now because that's the new weapon of choice. Like, okay, give me a break. Like we just talked about, you can do a lot of damage with a lot of random shit, like a screwdriver. I mean, you can kill a guy with a fucking pencil if you drive it through his fucking ear or his eyeball. Like, you don't need a weapon that shoots bullets to kill somebody. They are at hand in every home.
Yeah. Absolutely.
Like, and we always talk about like that as if it's the ultimate pinnacle of heinous shit. And don't get me wrong, it's terrible. It is heinous. It's insidious. But there's far worse ways that people have died in America that we don't talk about.
Absolutely.
In significant and vastly more sadistic and disgusting and torturous ways. But yet we don't talk about that really at all. We like to settle with the simplistic shit that we can just bitch about, but really not do anything.
And my high school did get shot up my freshman year. And I was there. So that's a scary situation that I wouldn't want anybody to be in. But I remember right after it happened, the prospect of arming teachers came up in the legislature, and this was 2010, 2011. So everyone was, oh, you can't do that. What? That's crazy. Like it had never been thought of before. And
but you can have armed security guards.
And when I say arming teachers, I don't mean give every teacher a gun. Dude, go on like Libs of TikTok and you'll see that not every teacher, most teachers should not have firearms, but giving the ones that had, passed a concealed carry test, the right to carry one, at work. And I remember even thinking, like, because I had never even thought of that. I was 14 years old. I remember thinking, I wasn't political. I was 14. But I remember thinking when that came up, I was like, I remember my teacher sitting by the door with a chair. Like, yeah, it'd probably be better if he had a handgun. You know what I mean? Like, I would
at least
much
he could
preferred
protect
that.
you.
Yeah.
If there was a nut job running around with a gun.
That teacher, yeah. So he was my math teacher, and he was cool guy. We sat through the whole shooting with him. Like, we were there till that evening sitting in the class, and now he's heavily into QAnon. I think it's funny. I found him on Facebook the other day.
What a turn of events.
Popped up as a recommended friend, and like, I guess the shooting, like, this guy, his fucking career as a teacher was just wild. Like, he came from he had family out here, but he came from New Jersey. And his first year, he watched from across the river. He watched the Twin Towers collapse. His second year, he had a kid pull a taser on him in school. His third year, he had a kid pull a gun on him in school. And then it went smooth sailing. He moved to Omaha a couple years later, and then boom, mass shooting his first year. So he actually retired from teaching. And that might be why he went down the Q rabbit hole. But yeah, he's all talking about how Biden's not the real president, and the sex trafficking cabal is going to get taken out once Trump comes back into office. It's a wild trip, man.
Wait a minute. I'm sorry. You covered a couple things that I mean, I think there's a little bit of merit to it. Like, do you really think that Biden is like in charge?
So no, I think Biden is officially in charge. I don't think there's some grand conspiracy that there's going to be this coup where they're going to replace him.
Right.
Like,
he's got a hand up his ass.
The president, in the sense that he won the election. I'm not going to sit here and argue about the election fraud. Like, it's over, y'all. Let it go. It's been years. He won the election, but I mean, there's someone else pulling the strings. Like, Biden can't go to the bathroom by himself.
Right. Like, he's directed on which path to take, and it's paved, and he still goes through the grass. I mean, give me a fucking break. It's not there.
Like saying that we need to assassinate the leader of a nuclear superpower.
Man, and then when they come out, about to say, like, come on.
And when they come out and say, hey, he didn't mean that, he's like, no, I meant it. I meant more than that. I want to fuck his wife after I kill him.
Yeah.
He didn't say that's the video I didn't click on that said that he doubled down.
He didn't say he wanted to fuck his wife. He said he wanted to fuck his daughter.
Basically said that was his thoughts and feelings, so he didn't go back and we're like, yeah, that's not wise, holy man. Christ. Somebody put grandpa to bed and give him his tapioca pudding, call it a fucking night. Like,
right. I mean, you could, like, obscure congressmen and radio hosts and even governors and shit, they can say stuff like that. But bro, when you are commander in chief of the armed forces, if you're going to say we need to kill a foreign leader, you better have a plan in place to go take his ass out right now. Or I'm sorry, that's an act of war. Those are fighting words. You can't just say shit like that. Like,
that's a gauntlet thrown, my guy. Like, fuck, you don't just get to say that and then, just kidding.
Yeah.
Or no, I really meant that.
I think the only thing that makes it funnier to me is the fact that he kind of looks like Walter from Jeff Dunham's Little Puppet set, right? So, like, just imagining him as a little less angry looking in the face, but still pretty much the general gist. That at least lessens the blow for me, knowing going into World War III. You know what I mean?
Right. See, and that's the thing I did, because we got to close it out pretty like 10 minutes here. But like the World War III thing, you keep seeing all these articles dunking on Putin about how it's this massive failure. They've lost 15,000 troops and blah blah blah. Like, you know what? Maybe we shouldn't antagonize the guy further. Like, he still does have nuclear weapons.
Let's just shut the fuck up.
He's obviously not in the best of mindsets. I'm sorry. These 15,000 Russians, they were conscripts. They didn't sign up to do this shit. Maybe we shouldn't go out bragging about how some 18-year-old kid took a fucking bullet for somewhere he didn't even want to be because he was born in the wrong border or inside the wrong borders. You know,
exactly.
Maybe we shouldn't be celebrating that all these people are dying. You know, and don't give me the
there should be no celebration of death. Yeah. Like, give me a fucking break.
We shouldn't celebrate 15,000 of anybody dead that's been conscripted into a communist, fascist, whatever military that had no choice in the matter. I'm sorry. Number one. Number two, I don't think that this ground invasion being the massive failure that it was is really that big of a victory. Because if it really pisses him off, he's going to say, okay, fine, we'll just bomb you then. Now try and stop me. Good luck.
I think he's trying to, I don't know what he's trying to do. Go ahead, Terrance.
No, it's literally, to me, it's like when you see that fat kid that you know has been picked on for so long on the playground, like literally crying, turning red in the face, but he's like toddler angry, like
Yeah.
but
He's
you
about to
see that there's
blow.
like 2 or 3 kids that are still like, ha ha, fat fuck, and it's
Yeah.
like, hey, you 3 shits don't realize your faces are about to get fucking destroyed.
Or tomorrow when he comes back with his dad's handgun.
Right.
Right. Like,
Don't do
stop
that.
poking that fucking bear.
Right, yeah.
Get back, my guy. Like, let him be. Let him be.
Right.
Let him recover.
Right. You know what? If we did beat him, if they did beat him, they beat him. Great. Let it go. Don't keep dunking on him. We don't need a new article
Right.
every 15
Just sit
minutes
back and be like,
about Putin's big embarrassment and how his military is a joke. And like, obviously he's a little unstable. Maybe we should leave him alone. I made the equation with, I equated it with Bill Queen was on here, that Russia and Putin are like everyone's had like that nutcase neighbor next door, right? You don't want to be friends with the guy. You don't have to be friends with the guy, but
Right.
fuck, at least you got to be cordial to him because you don't want to piss him off. Like, don't go out of your way to rile the guy up. You know what I'm saying? Like, at least
you wave and you go in your house and it's all good.
Hey man, you know, if he comes over to ask to borrow some sugar, I'll probably give it to him if people still do that anymore.
That's the shitty part, right? That's the reality. You gotta give this fucking asshole a beer every now and again.
Yep.
Because you've got to keep your house intact.
When he wants to come over to the neighborhood bonfire, you just gotta let him. Nobody say anything to piss him off. Just everyone be cool, you know. And he'll leave without event, hopefully.
That's what we're pulling for.
Plate, he'll be happy. Everybody will be safe.
A little bit of extra beans, a little extra potato salad,
a bottle of vodka. That's them Russians and their vodka. So we just did like an hour. Terrance, you got anything you want to plug?
I wanted to get to something that I found on Terrance's page. Sorry, I stalked our guest.
We still got time, so you're good.
No, go ahead, please.
Yeah. No, I totally stalk our guest page so that I can acquaint myself and be ready for the show. So you posted a video the other day while your son was in the bath. And at first I was annoyed because you wouldn't get to the point you were laughing so fucking hard. And then I was laughing so fucking hard. So I need to know what happened after you ended the fucking video and went back in the bathroom. I had a little girl. Tell the people about the video.
I'll catch everybody up. Okay, so we're going to give my son a bath 2 nights ago.
How old is this little boy, by the way?
He is 3 years old.
Okay.
3 years and 3-4 months, right?
Okay.
So he's a talkative, energetic dude. We've got a 5-month-old daughter. Well, almost 5-month-old daughter. And they're my world. I love it. But we give him bath time. He had gotten new little colored fizzle bubble things you're supposed to drop in them. Cool. We loved it. When you drop them in there, it mixed into this weird amalgam that just made cloudy water they did a good time in. It's great, right? But all of a sudden, out of nowhere, my guy just goes full on erect and is proud as fuck, right? Like he's just full on 6 to midnight, just like that shit is just like you, daddy, like you, like just so he's erect and he starts kind of halfway playing with it, and I'm kind of giggling. But it's even funnier the minute he flips over and then he just starts humping the fuck out of the bottom of the tub. Now, it was even funnier because the water was so cloudy. All you see is wet little pasty-ass white butt cheeks just skimming through the water. And then this little motherfucker's like, Daddy, I'm swimming fast. So he's just going up and down. I'm fucking dying. My wife is like, that's you. She's like keeping it intact, somewhat annoyed, somewhat amused, but we're having a good time. I can't fucking stop laughing. He's kind of embarrassed after a bit. When he catches on, I can't stop laughing. So it culminates into a point where I ended up, like, as I come into the bathroom, there's a wall to where it just kind of obstructs your view just a little bit. And he hears me laughing rounding to where he like pops where he's still humping the fucking thing. And he's like, leave me alone, Daddy. And he goes back and saying, Daddy, I'm swimming fast. And after that, I just sat out and I had to call my dad to be like, I'm fucking done. I can't do this anymore.
You guys,
not a
I'm sorry.
good
There's
dad."
somebody at my door. I'll be right back.
What if
Take
she
your money.
it's like the same thing we were just talking about? Wouldn't that be
Right.
crazy?
That's what
What
I'm
if
saying.
we just hear like gunshots down the hallway or something?
Well, we won't because she muted it, and I wanted all that drama.
Oh shit.
Yeah, so dude, yeah, he was just humping the fuck out of the tub. That was
How old is he?
3 years old, man.
Oh, okay.
Dude, I didn't realize like until I became a dad that like they pitch tents at such a young age. Like literally at like 2 months old, this dude is having chubbies. You're like, what the fuck?
I can kind of remember getting like I didn't understand what they were when I was young. Like I guess I just remember it was like really uncomfortable. I guess I can kind of remember getting that.
All right, so now we know Dre didn't get beat up, shot up, robbed, or none of that stuff. She's back, so that's good.
Unmute yourself real quick.
John's talking to a couple of our elderly neighbors right now. So
you being too loud?
No, like something happened earlier, and he had to knock around their door, so they're asking why he was not here earlier.
To knock on your door.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I don't talk to any of my neighbors, so that's
yeah. So that was the culmination. Luckily, there was just he didn't blow any jellyfish. I'm very happy that he didn't leave any jellyfish.
That's good. I don't think they got him at that age.
No, yeah, I wanted to know, like, how does this like? So I didn't have a little boy. I had a little girl, one child. I have no idea. Like, so he didn't finish on. And also, my bathtub. I don't know how your bathtub is textured. Mine's pretty rough. So.
Mine would be like humping sandpaper. Yeah,
it's smooth all the way for ours. So I gotta imagine with the moisture and the motion in the ocean, my guy's having a good time. But God, the fucking detail that killed me. The detail that killed me was one of the angles in which I went back and visited one time. It was so weird because the way he like went to adjust his hand. Literally, like, made it look like this motherfucker was like adjusting his hand, like he's trying to enter some pussy or something.
Jesus Christ.
I was like, definitely horrified, but fucking dying on the inside. Like, you fucking pervert.
And what did you post the video? You didn't post the video of this happening.
No. He had stepped out of the bathroom.
Okay.
And you can hear the kid, like, how they're loud in the bathroom. You can hear it off in the distance. And he's just dying laughing, trying to tell the story.
I figured that's what it was. I just wanted to clarify so no one's like reporting him to the FBI for kitty porn.
So now back to the podcast. We're going to bring in Chris Hansen as our next guest.
Yes. Why don't you have a seat right over here? So for real though, he does have a podcast. It's like called like Predators I've Caught.
Nice.
He breaks down the predators he's caught and like what happened behind the scenes and what the person was doing, and he like talks about what happened after the fact. Like with like what happened with their lives. Some of them killed themselves. Some of them went on to live like semi-normal lives besides being registered as a sex offender.
So did most of them end up getting arrested though? I hope.
Oh, they all went to jail.
They all went to jail. Yeah.
They all go to jail. Yeah, because they partner with the cops. It's not like that guy we tried to get on here. It's all partnered with law enforcement. So it's just they allow them to
explain themselves a little bit.
And they don't have to. They can't detain him. He's like, you're free to go whenever you want.
It's just the cops are outside.
Yeah. It's and you can't. I didn't realize this. So like, because at first I was like, fuck, why would anyone okay that? Being aired on TV. But if you're caught in the act of a felony, of committing a felony, you don't get a say. It can get played on TV and you don't get any consent to it. Yeah.
You're shitting me.
No, because that's how they get like on the news. Like if you were caught, breaking into somebody's house or something like that, it's the same thing. So
makes sense.
They can use whatever footage they want if you're caught in the act of a felony that you've been convicted of. So
makes sense.
So yeah, that's that. But
cameras everywhere.
Yep. Cameras everywhere. Do you have anything you want to plug besides your upcoming airing on To Catch a Predator?
Plug all your stuff.
Nope. Just follow me nowhere because I'm a nobody. Fake Terrance G at all the socials. Appreciate y'all having me. This is fun.
Fuck yeah, absolutely. Thanks for coming on, man.
Thank you.
This has been Mental Misdeeds. Thank you all so much. We had so much fun today. We will see you next Tuesday. Do we have a guest yet, or do we need to find one?
We need to find one.
Okay, I didn't know if it was. It's next week. Okay. All right. Cool. Well, we'll have a guest announcement for you guys shortly. Alex Jones coming up next. So no, I'm kidding.
That'd be amazing.
All right, peace out, y'all.